Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing the second set of torpedoes for Minotaur, or as the sister ship I've renamed her London. So this is going to be a very similar review to Neptune in regards to the torpedoes. You have one set of torpedoes that does 13.7 kilometers, does 10,800 damage at 56 knots, zero point 0.5 rounds a minute, 1.3 kilometer detectability range, and 95.60 torpedo flood chance. And then you have the second set, which is my recommended set of 14,400 damage, 9.8 kilometer torpedo range, 66 knot speed, 0.62 rounds per minute, 1.3 kilometer detectability range, and 127.47% torpedo flood chance. Yeah, there's not really a thinking problem. It's really a no-brainer. These ones are much better. The only difference is you lose about 4 kilometers in torpedo range. That being said, you can still technically use these ones. So we will be going over these torpedoes today. And let's see what our concealment is to see if we are able to stealth torp with these. I do believe you should be able to. Concealment, not fully concealed, because I don't think I have the cruise skill yet. I'm working on it. So I don't have the fully concealed Minotaur right now. But even without that, we already have 9.8 kilometer detectability. So with the 13.7 kilometers, we easily can stealth torp. And we can torpedo ships right as we are detected with the setup. And you can get a little bit of stealth torping capability, maybe a few hundred meters or so, with that additional cruise skill. So with that, let's toss her into a game and see what we can do. Alright, here results the game. A couple battleships, some cruisers, and a few destroyers as well. No carriers, which is fine with me. This ship is really good. She's very similar to Edinburgh and Neptune in the fact that she's mainly a gun and anti-aircraft ship. However, she's also very closely resembling, or can be compared to Neptune in the fact that she has good offensive torpedoes as well. I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied, so do keep that in mind. Right off the bat, you can see that you have quite the fast gun turning speed. Yeah, these guns turn on a dime, and they are amazing. Torpedo angles, I don't have any problems with those, especially not on a cruiser. Consumables, we have a repair, we have a super heal, just like Neptune, and we have 3 smoke screens. Torpedoes are arranged in the same way on Neptune, so we have 4 quad launchers on each side, each with 2 twin mounts, I guess you could say. So you can fire 2 torpedoes at a time out of 8 total. And so you can still technically be quite offensively minded with these torpedoes if you'd like. We do have the 13.7 kilometer torpedoes equipped, so we can start sending them down range as soon as they're loaded. But they do take some time to load. We're already at, what, a minute 40, let's see? Regardless, yeah. Focus on your guns because your guns are going to be the main damage dealers, but you can use your torpedoes quite effectively. I have, and so can you. They're not only just good for rushing, though that is an effective tactic, I would say, but you can launch torps at targets that have beached themselves while you're in concealment, or if you need to sink a ship as it's coming towards your smoke screen and your guns are just not doing it fast enough, launch some torpedoes that way too, and hopefully that will help you out. And so right now we're just kind of getting into range. I really don't understand this matchmaking. I'm a 9.6 matchmaking cruiser, and that is an 8.5 matchmaking to cattle. That's a 1.1 matchmaking difference between us, and sometimes that's not even the worst that you can see in this game. So I'm not quite sure still how this matchmaking works, but I do know that there is a destroyer here that would like to be sunk relatively quickly at that. So let's oblige him and start sending some section cells downrange. Now these are actually the same guns that you will find on the Tiger C-20, or as I renamed it, Southampton diamond ship that just came out, how they only have 2 turrets. And honestly, you really need all of the turrets to make this ship good. That ship is just not good in my book at all. Alright, so we're not going to worry about capping that much. We have quite a few broadsiding targets to take care of, but we are going to actually get an assisted cap. That'll work out for us. Let's see if we can get some citadels. I know we can get some solid chunk damage, but I would like some citadels if at all possible. Well, we'll never know because she's already sunk. Alright, so let's head back into the fray and see what else we can do. This also is getting kind of close. There's a lion, there's a llama over there. As you can see here, we have a similar kind of layout with the Mogami, with having our frontal guns, 2 being on the main deck with 1 super firing. And in that case, I can still only use 2 turrets firing directly ahead at a time. I cannot use mount number 2 since she is blocked by mount number 1. Right, but that's fine. We don't really need her because we can do a lot of damage with our 2 salvos anyways, or 2 turrets. We are going to be taking some secondary damage from this Alzus, but that's all the damage that we will be taking. But that still was, what, 7,000 damage or so? Wow. So I've been focusing on the French battleships recently, playing them a bit more, testing out those high explosive secondaries that they were equipped with versus the armor-piercing ones that they used to have. And honestly, it's not as much damage as I used to get with the armor-piercing, but it's also not terrible. I was expecting a lot more shatters, but I'm not really finding that. So the high explosive secondaries are pretty decent on the French battleships, if you have not already found that out yourself. Alright, so we have 2 battleships and apparently a destroyer. However, I have no idea where she is. But let's rush. Or at least maybe get some long range hits because we are focused for range on our torpedoes. But I don't know how effective we'll be in that regards. Alright, so we have a stationary Yamato, more or less. So we can do a ton of damage. Ooh, wait, there's the destroyer. Let's finish her off before she goes and hides again. And it is a friendly British destroyer. Jutland. Alright, so let's... Oh, she reset me. I did not appreciate that. So we already got a fire, that's nice. We're not as shotgunny as Edinburgh may be, but we're definitely not the most accurate when it comes to shooting ships that are nose into us. And I'm actually going to pop a smoke screen while I finish capping this base and just start farming these battleships. And I guess I can start trying to launch torpedoes as well. Actually, we can stay here while we do that. Kind of. Nope. Alright, so... Actually, let's just send out some torps. You never know. As you can see there, you can still do 2 torpedoes at a time. That was the widespread instead of the narrow spread. And so you can see how they are quite spread out. However, I still don't think that's good enough to actually get any torpedo hits on that lion, because that's what we were trying to hit, considering this Yama is going to start moving forward soon. Well, we're still going to get some major chunk damage on her while we wait for our torpedoes to get there. And we're fully concealed, so we're just getting some blind shots right now. It looks like the Yama is actually still reversing, so I'm not going to question that, and just kind of gun her down at this point. As you can see, the armor-piercing shells are very effective. It doesn't really matter what range there are. I don't think we're going to get any torpedo hits on that line. As you can see, the slow speed of these torpedoes means that it is quite easy to dodge them at range. I think our smoke screen is going to go down in just a moment. There we go, it's down. But we're going to get some long range shots on this line and just slowly whittle her down this way. You really don't want to be close enough to use your torpedoes in this ship. The battleships at this tier are just so powerful, and even the cruisers. If you're seen and you're seen getting broadside, you will immediately explode if you're shot at, if they're using armor piercing. Because your citadel is so easy to hit and your armor is just not thick at all. Yeah, you won't last very long. But that's the way that the ship is. She trades armor for speed and maneuverability, and she trades, well, high damaging guns with rapid firing guns. But she also has good AA and also good torpedoes as well. She does also have some secondaries. They're like 3-inch secondaries. Yeah, just, you're not going to go into a secondary brawl and win with anything, so don't even think about that. But we are able to very quickly whittle down battleships and the like with our armor-piercing shells. So let's see how we did with Minotaur today. 207,000 damage, 6 ships sunk, 436 shell hits, 3 aircraft shot down, 3 citadels, 4 fires, 1 captive base, 1 assisted captive base, 2 defended caps, and 23 secondary hits for 7,500 base XP. We tried to use our torpedoes, but we were not really able to land any hits. So 26,000 damage was in high explosive, 180,000 damage was in armor piercing. Fires did just over 1,000, and secondary battery did less than 1,000. So as you can see there, they're pretty worthless. But all in all, the ship is really good, especially in the AA defense mode, as well as the rate of fire. She's quite similar to Worcester, the American top tier light cruiser. Very similar guns and AA suites. However, Worcester is longer and is an easier target in my opinion. But Minotaur has torpedoes, whereas Worcester has radar. So it's really what works best for you. I do think Worcester actually also has better anti-aircraft defense overall. But Mino is definitely not one to ignore if you are in a carrier. You definitely want to stay away from her as much as possible, unless you're trying to take her out in one strike, because if you take more than 1 or 2, you're just going to lose so many planes, it's not really going to be worth it. With that, we'll wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow while we finish up going over the alternate versions for cruisers as we go over the Russian Kronstadt, this time with 15-inch guns. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.